Hi soothing souls, I hope you're all doing really well. Just a quick reminder to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. It means the world to me. Now let's get started with tonight's relaxation. So tonight, I'll be whispering another fictional story I wrote. This one is called The Clockmaker's Secret. In the heart of a town where cobblestone streets whispered underfoot and the scent of aged parchment lingered in the cool evening air, there stood an old shop tucked between towering stone buildings. A simple wooden sign hung above the door, its letters faded by time. Aldrich's timepieces. Few people ever entered the shop, and even fewer saw its owner. Aldrich, the reclusive clockmaker, was a man of few words, known for his craftsmanship than his company. It was said that he could mend any broken timepiece, from pocket watches passed through generations to grand pendulum clocks that had ticked away centuries. But there was another rumor, a whisper that floated through the town like mist on an autumn morning. They said Aldrich's clocks were not merely machines. They held something within them, something beyond gears and springs. Alara had never paid much attention to such stories, but when she inherited her grandfather's old pocket watch, everything changed. The watch that did not tick. Alara turned the watch over in her hands, studying its intricate golden casings. The initials RM were engraved on the back, her grandfather's name, Rowan Merrick. The watch had been given to him decades ago, and though the chain was worn and the surface scratched, it still gleamed under the candlelight in her quiet home. Yet no matter how many times she wound it, the hands would not move. The gears remained still, frozen in place. This was how she found herself standing outside Aldrich's timepieces late one evening, her breath curling in the cold air. The shop's interior smelled of wood and oil, the faint tick-tock of dozens of clocks filling the silence like a heartbeat. Aldrich himself was bent over a workbench, his long fingers delicately adjusting the inner workings of a tall grandfather clock. "I don't take repairs after sundown," he murmured without looking up. Alara hesitated before stepping forward. "I think this is one of yours." She set the watch on the counter. Aldrich's hand stilled. Slowly, he lifted the timepiece, turning it over in his palm. For the first time, he looked at her. Truly looked. His gray eyes, sharp as the edge of a chisel, searched her face as though recognizing something long forgotten. "This belonged to Rowan Merrick," he said at last. "You knew my grandfather." Aldrich exhaled, setting the watch on the workbench. "I made this for him a long time ago, but it was never meant to stop." "Then why won't it tick?" The clockmaker hesitated. When he finally spoke, his voice was low, almost reverent. "This is no ordinary watch. It doesn't just tell time, it keeps it. Memories locked in time." Alara frowned. "That doesn't make sense." Aldrich opened the back of the watch, revealing gears so fine they seemed spun from moonlight. A single glistening gemstone lay nestled at the center, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. "When Rowan first came to me," Aldrich said, "he asked for a watch unlike any other, one that could preserve it the moments he cherished most. This watch does more than count the hours, it holds memories within its hands." Alara's pulse quickened. "You're saying it can show me the past?" "Not just show, it allows you to step into it." Before she could respond, Aldrich wound the watch. The moment the hands moved, the shop around her blurred. The scent of oil and dust was replaced with fresh pine and burning firewood. The clocks lining the walls faded, replaced by a cozy sitting room, a fireplace crackling in the corner. And standing before her was her grandfather. Rowan Merrick was younger than she had ever seen him, his hair still dark, his face unlined by age. He laughed, speaking to someone just out of sight. It was her grandmother, Lillian, the woman Alara had never met, the woman who had died long before she was born. Alara's breath caught. She stepped forward, reaching out, but the image flickered like candlelight. Then, just as suddenly, she was back in the clock shop. She gasped, steadying herself against the counter. "I saw them, my grandparents, together." Aldrich nodded. Every time this watch was wound, it preserved the moment, storing it inside like an echo of time. Alara's hands tightened around the timepiece. If it can bring back memories, does that mean? Yes, Aldrich met her gaze. The watch was one final ability, a single choice. It can restore one moment, bringing it back to the present. Her heart pounded. You mean you could change something, undo a regret, bring someone back, but only once. A choice that would change everything. Alara stared at the watch. The hands ticked softly now, as though waiting. Her mind raced. She had never met her grandmother, never seen her in anything more than photographs. What would it be like to bring her into the present, to let her and her grandfather share a life they never had? But then another thought surfaced. Her mother. She had lost her in a car accident 5 years ago. The grief had been a wound that never fully healed. She could bring her back. One twist of the watch's gears, and time would rewrite itself. Her hands trembled. Aldrich's voice was calm but firm. Whatever you choose, the past cannot be undone again. Time will shift, and the life you know will no longer be the same. Alara squeezed her eyes shut. The weight of time, of love, of loss, it pressed against her like the ticking of 1,000 clocks. She exhaled slowly, opening her eyes. I know my choice. Aldrich simply nodded. The watch gleamed in her palm, and as she wound it for the first time, the world around her changed forever. The watchmaker's final lesson. The next morning, Aldrich's timepieces remained closed. No one saw the clockmaker that day or any day after. Some said he had left town. Others claimed that he had never been there at all. But if one listened closely, late at night, beneath the chime of the old bell tower, they might still hear the faintest whisper of ticking, the sound of time itself, keeping its secrets. Alright, I think that'll be it for tonight. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this story. I hope you all sleep well, and I hope you all have a great night.